Have you ever seen an act that, on the surface, just looks cruel, but then you wonder, is there something deeper going on? Well, we're about to dive into a powerful story that's all about that. A story about how intentional pain can, believe it or not, lead to profound wisdom. Let's get right into it. Our story kicks off with a loyal butler, and he is just completely baffled by his master. See, he always thought of him as this kind, benevolent guy. But then, one single, shocking event happens, and it reveals a side he can only describe as iron-hearted. And that paradox, well, that's exactly what we're here to unpack. And right there, that's the core question we're going to tackle. Was the Lord's action a moment of just cold cruelty, or was it something else entirely? A masterfully crafted, though incredibly painful, lesson in disguise. Let's find out together. So we begin with a real tragedy. The Lord's lady, Upati, she passes away. But instead of doing all the expected rites and ceremonies, the Lord does something that just shocks everyone. He has her body buried in the forest. No ceremony, nothing. To the butler and to everyone else watching, this was just unbelievably cold, an iron-hearted act. Now, the key to unlocking this whole mystery, it lies with one person, a really promising student named Sheng Ming. The Lord saw this immense potential in him, and as we're about to see, this entire tragic event is deeply, deeply connected to his destiny. So, who exactly was Sheng Meng before all this happened? Well, he was on a path to greatness, for sure, but he took a major detour. Despite all that promise, he got completely lost, totally consumed by his worldly attachment to the Lady Upati. His journey really unfolds in 4 clear stages. First, you've got the promise, where his potential is recognized. Then comes the fall, where he gets tangled up in his attachment. That leads directly to his great ordeal, this self-imposed exile in the wilderness after Upati's death. But it all culminates in the return, where he finally emerges completely transformed. This is the path we're about to trace, from potential all the way to enlightenment. So what happens after that unceremonious burial? Shang Meng, absolutely devastated, just vanishes into that same forest. They searched for him. They searched for so long that eventually everyone just gave up hope. They figured he must have died out there, lost in his solitude and grief. But here's the twist. The Lord's action, it wasn't heartless at all. It was a deliberate, calculated test designed specifically for Shang Meng. All of that apparent cruelty had a hidden purpose. Okay, so why would a master do this? It comes down to this really powerful idea called creating the conditions, or yin yuan. A great teacher knows you can't just hand wisdom to someone. It doesn't work that way. Instead, they create the exact circumstances, even painful ones, that force the student to have their own breakthrough. It's not about giving answers, it's about building the whole arena for discovery. And the logic here is just so precise. Think about it. If the Lord had just gone ahead and performed the rituals himself, he would have robbed Shang Meng of his one chance to truly grow. This was a burden Shang Meng had to carry on his own. It was his responsibility, and his alone to confront that loss and find his own way through it. This whole episode, it really illustrates a universal truth that goes way beyond this one story. It's about the profound, irreplaceable wisdom that can only come from directly tasting pain. Some lessons, you just can't learn them from a distance. In Buddhist philosophy, this connects to the idea of the 8 sufferings, or Baku. These are kind of the fundamental, unavoidable pains of being alive. Shang Meng was basically thrown headfirst into 2 of the most powerful ones: the pain of being separated from what you love and the pain of not getting what you desire. The Lord didn't try to shield him from it. He made him confront it, face to face. And this really gets to the heart of it all. You can be told that fire is hot 1,000 times, but you'll never truly understand what hot means until you feel the heat yourself, right? It's the same thing here. Wisdom about suffering isn't some idea you can just read in a book. It's an experience. It's a flavor you have to taste for yourself. This shows us there are really 3 different depths of wisdom. The shallowest is just hearing a concept. A little deeper is thinking about it, turning it over in your mind. But the most profound wisdom, that only comes from experiencing it directly. For years, Shang Meng had probably heard about and thought about attachment and loss. The Lord's test basically threw him out of the classroom and into the real world, forcing him into that final, deepest level of understanding. So what was the whole point of all that suffering? I mean, what did Xiangmeng actually gain from it? Well, the result was this quality we can call spiritual agility, a complete and total transformation in how he saw the world and how he acted in it. The moment he returns is just so powerful. After years out there in the wilderness, he sees his Lord, and his very first act is to pick a flower and offer it to him. That simple gesture, it symbolizes everything. His priorities have completely flipped. The Lord, who represents the path to wisdom, is now number one, above every other attachment he once had. He basically traded what the Source calls ludeng, which is just random impulsive movement, for lingdeng, or spiritual agility. Think of it like this. It's the difference between someone flailing around in the water, panicking, and a swimmer making a perfect stroke. One is just busy, chaotic energy that gets you nowhere. The other is precise, effective action that comes from a place of deep clarity and wisdom. He could now see the very essence of a situation and act perfectly. In the end, the signs of his transformation were just undeniable. He could finally look back and see his Lord's iron heart not as cruelty, but as the deepest, most ultimate form of teaching. The things that once ruled his life no longer had any power over him. His entire perspective had shifted. He was finally able to see the world as it truly is, not just as he wished it would be. And so we end right back where we started, with the paradox of pain. This story suggests that our deepest, most meaningful wisdom, it can't be learned from a book. It has to be lived. And that leaves a really challenging question for all of us. What difficulty, what pain are you avoiding right now that might actually hold your greatest lesson? It's something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.